I'm gonna give you 4 lower body exercises for soccer, and we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in being more explosive, you wanna be structurally balanced, you wanna be a freak out on the pitch, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a beast. Okay, so a lot of issues around soccer is that soccer coaches don't want their athletes to lift. They'll sit there and just constantly say things like,
you don't want to get big and bulky, you don't want to look like a bodybuilder, you don't want to get slower.
and they forget that if you can be more explosive and if you can be more coordinated, you can accelerate a little bit quicker, you can get out of cuts a little bit faster. They forget their counterparts in sports like rugby, sports like American football, where these guys are freakishly fast. Even sprinters on the track lift weights consistently, and I think that that's a big concept here that we've got to hammer home with soccer players, is that it's incredibly important to lift weights, especially when we're talking about lower body strength. And so that takes us into that first key exercise that I like to utilize with my athletes that are playing soccer, that are out on the pitch and they want to dominate, and that's they've got to do full cleans, and there's multiple different reasons. If you've watched our strength training for soccer video, you've seen dynamic trunk control is imperative, okay? It's imperative to being agile on the soccer field, just as is focusing on acceleration and focusing on explosiveness out of cuts. So that first exercise is gonna be a full clean, and the reason why I love full cleans for soccer players is that they tend to be extremely weak in the full range of motion. And what that ends up doing is it leads to ankle injuries, it leads to knee problems, and it leads to lower back pain, okay? So if we can get athletes in the soccer realm to actually go in and do a couple full cleans, let's say they're doing 5 sets of 3, 5 sets of 2, 4 sets of 4, anything along these lines, real simple sets and reps, right? Now they're gonna improve their explosiveness, they're making good hip extension, they're having an explosive finish, now they're gonna be absorbing that force when they're absorbing that full clean, they're gonna get full range of motion, we're gonna improve the strength of the lower back, we're gonna improve the dorsiflexion of their ankle, that's gonna help them cut a little bit steeper, and when their dorsiflexion improves in their ankle, now they can accelerate a little bit better because their knee's gonna track forward more out of those specific cuts. So utilize full cleans once to twice a week. I would start with twice a week. One day you can go a little bit heavier, the second day you can just work on that technique, work on that speed out of the bottom position, and you're gonna start to really notice that you're gonna dominate your opponents, you're gonna have better dynamic trunk control, and you're gonna feel a lot stronger when you're playing for those full 90 minutes. Okay, so that second key exercise that I love utilizing is actually gonna incorporate the XPT, okay? So this is like a little bit of I like to say it's a Smith machine on steroids. It's so much cooler than a Smith machine, and we got this from thexpt.com, straight from Brady Poppenja, who played in the NFL. And the reason why I love using the XPT is because it makes it a little bit easier to put a little bit bigger load on, and if we're doing higher reps. One of those key concepts that we've talked about in our video on strength training for soccer is strength endurance. When we're thinking about speed-based training, it's important to do unilateral work, especially when we're targeting the glutes, quads, and hamstrings, okay? What we're gonna see with the XPT is that it makes it nice and easy. You can set this up and you can play around with where we're gonna be at. I might have to move this, you know, it's very, very simple. And if I have a home gym, I'm gonna get the XPT because it's such a versatile piece of equipment when you're doing unilateral work. So my second favorite exercise is gonna be that single leg squat, okay? I'm gonna get in here, clip there. Now I can get down. Oh yeah, up. And you can see right there, I actually fell. So what I want to do is I actually want to move this in just slightly, okay? So you're getting a little bit of on the fly work here. So when we get underneath, it's easy. You just rack that nice and simply, get stable, drive up, up. And that's what's so cool there is you can release and you can see, look, I was sort of favoring that one side. So I have a little bit of an instability and I'm sort of wobbling all over the place. That's another key factor, is this thing actually provides that feedback where if you're a coach or if you're videoing yourself from the back, with the XPT, I can stand there and say, oh wow, I'm a little bit off balance, and it just makes it a little bit more pronounced so that you can understand, well, you know, my right side's not really waking up with my side abs or my obliques. I need to wake that up a little bit more before I get into that next set. So I like doing 5-6 sets of single leg squats here with the XPT. Sometimes I might just do 3 sets of 20 on each leg, and that's when this really comes in handy. Head over to the xpt.com if you want one of your half racks today. One of those other key factors too is that if you don't have this, if you don't have the XPT, you can do a single leg squat, you can put your back leg up on a bench, you can put it inside of an actual squat rack and still hit that single leg unilateral strength that's gonna help you run faster and be more explosive. Okay, my third favorite exercise for soccer players is gonna be another lower body movement that we're gonna utilize to target dynamic trunk control. Remember, that's a key concept. Now we can target dynamic trunk control with some unilateral strength, some mobility, and also we're gonna lead into that strength endurance. And so we're gonna focus on hitting, ooh yeah, a walking lunge, okay? I love doing walking lunges. You can go forward, okay? We can go backwards if you want, but we want to focus on squeezing our trunk, squeezing our obliques, squeezing our upper back. All of those muscular actions sort of coincide, they go together, okay? So if I go forward here, and now it's gonna be a lot harder when I go backwards. So it's gonna force me to be a little bit more stable, a little bit more aware of my body position. Boom. Oh yeah. And that dynamic trunk control is gonna lead to greater speed. And I can sit there and say, hey, end of a session, let's do 3 sets of 20 each leg, and you get a minute rest. That's gonna help our strength endurance. So we can go through that whole workout, hammer some bigger lifts, then we can finish with this nice unilateral work that's gonna target dynamic trunk control. It's gonna help you cut a little bit quicker and dominate your opponents while you're controlling the ball. Okay, my fourth favorite exercise for lower body strength training for soccer is going to be a sliding Caustic Squat. So you can do a normal Caustic Squat if you don't have furniture sliders. These are pretty cheap. You can get these online. You can use a towel if you've got a linoleum floor. You can even use those little wheelie things sometimes, like furniture wheelers. But we can sit here, okay? And I like to put my heel here and come back up, okay? And I wanna squeeze in my groin right here, get nice and deep. Try to keep this heel down, squeeze that back up. Up, okay? We're gonna do both sides. This side's a little tighter. Oh yeah. Okay, so the reason why I love doing this, there's multiple different reasons, but I want my hip to be mobile. I want my ankle to be mobile. If I can plant here and track my knee forward, now I can accelerate quicker out of that cut. If we're training multi-plane, okay, so we're doing some overhead walking lunges, we're doing the XPT single leg squats, we're doing full cleans. We're gonna get stronger, we're working in that unilateral position, and now if I'm planting and I'm doing some of my Caustic Squats that are sliding, I'm getting nice and deep, I'm mobilizing my ankle, my lower back, my hips. Now when I plant, if we can think about acceleration, if you watch somebody who's running a 40 or the best sprinters in the world, when they're working through the acceleration phase, the drive phase, we want that steep shin angle so we can project ourselves forward to accelerate using our quads and our glutes. And that's one of the big things here with that sliding Caustic Squat is it forces us to mobilize that so we can get a little bit deeper shin angle, right? So now if we're planting on the field, we have that strength to cut and get out. So utilize these 3 to 4 sets, 7 on each leg. And think about this, you just got 4 of those best exercises for lower body strength training for soccer. Hammer those full cleans. That's some bilateral work, some really good strength work. Then you can get into the XPT. You can do some unilateral strength work and also some unilateral explosive work. Then we're getting to those overhead lunges, superset that with the sliding Caustic Squats. Now you've got one of the best workouts that you can utilize to train the lower body for soccer. If you need help with a full program, click on the link down below. We put together a 12-week program specifically for soccer strength training. If you want more content around soccer-based training, click on this card right here. Until next time, guys, peace.